And so we want to have this idea of a customer in every room and to make sure that we are always thinking about the customer as we make.
So they are Notion customer.
Yeah, we always have the Sesame characters.
Customer.
Yeah.
네, 인테리어가 진짜 잘 돼 있는 것 같아요.
It will fix itself. So we call these self-healing agents, which I think is critical.
All of this was really just me talking. Like I didn't even type. At this point, you don't even type. I have my computer set to record my voice, and I'm just saying, okay, looking over this one. Okay, this doesn't make sense. And then I had a really strong data set.
If you're building something with AI, this is by far the most incredibly sort of rich opportunity because everything is up for grabs. Like there's no legacy company that can hold on to the old business. Everything's going to be disrupted in interesting ways.
안녕하세요, 조코딩입니다. 오늘 저는 노션 본사에 나와 있습니다. 실리콘밸리 테크 기업은 어떤 식으로 일하고 있는지 한번 직접 사무실 투어도 하고 어떻게 일하고 계시는지 알아보도록 하겠습니다. 네, 오늘 투어를 도와주실 분이 노션 본사에서 근무하고 계신 니켈님께서 도와주실 예정입니다. Hi, 니켈.
Hi.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Thank you. 건물이 굉장히 멋집니다. 되게 오래됐다고 해요.
So it was built in 1906. Notion moved in here not too long ago, but they wanted to keep the historic side of the building while still adding some of the Notion vibe to it as well.
와. 오.
Our first floor has a cafe brought to you by Coffee Movement. It is named after Ada, who is one of the first computer programmers. So we have things like that where we pay homage to the people that have inspired us, have been craftspeople over the years. We'll walk through and I'll show you some more of those examples, but we also have a fun introduction of a logo.
노션 발판으로 시작이 되고요.
Throughout the space, we have wonderful rugs. We have an atrium out there with beautiful sunlight.
Yeah.
The intention with all of these places is to give employees kind of a third space where they can still be in the office but not at their desks, collaborate, have a different vibe to what they're working on. So some examples of the things that we like to keep around the office are like magazines.
Computer magazines?
Yeah, they are quite old though. Well, this is...
Wow, oh, it's very old. It's like a museum.
People on the environments team find these different pieces to provide the inspiration for employees around great craftspeople and how they've made work in the past.
와우, 샤넬 카페가 굉장히 잘 되어 있습니다. 여기 계신 분들이 굉장히 전문가 분들이시라고 해요.
Craft is really important to us here at Notion. So we brought in Coffee Movement, which is the best coffee in the city. They are craftspeople at what they do, and we wanted to make sure that employees are also able to feel the craft of the coffee each time they come into the office. So here we're going to be going up to the second floor. So this place is where we have all hands, where we eat lunch. It's a place for just everyone to come together and be able to either talk about life, work, whatever it may be, but for a place for us to connect.
Can you say hi to? Hi. Thank you.
So throughout the office, you'll see Sesame Street characters. The reason that we have that is we wanted to have a physical representation of customers. And so we want to have this idea of a customer in every room. We keep these little characters scattered around to make sure that we are always thinking about the customer as we make
So they are customers, Notion customers.
representative, yeah. We eat lunch here.
Like an art museum or something?
Remember, or downstairs, I was kind of mentioning about how we want to pay homage to the people that have been great craftspeople in the past. We have little reminders in this way to kind of showcase the different ways that we can keep thinking about the people that have inspired us. And so Ada Lovelace is what the cafe downstairs was named after. And so we have some examples of items that have also inspired craft. I guess remember is that craft doesn't have to be expensive. Craft is good design and thinking about how people will use it. Object or what it provides. And so we have a variety of those items throughout. We have some of these iconic Notion jackets. We have a variety of these items kind of on the shelf here to showcase that timeless feel.
노션이 디자인이 전반적으로 깔끔하고 좋잖아요. 이게 아마 이런 디테일에서 영감을 받으신 직원분들이 개발을 해서 그렇지 않을까?
There's some stuff to do some arts and crafts here, some board games. Employees, when they start here, they get a little Lego character that they can make. And so as they go year after year, they can add another block.
Here, like this.
Yeah. This is where everyone at Notion starts. We kind of gather, get on board together, have a lot of natural light, have a view of the city as well. We also have some phone booths for people to take calls. I personally enjoy the lighting a lot in here. It helps me stay focused.
전반적으로 인테리어가 진짜 잘 돼 있는 것 같습니다.
We also have a library here.
오,
Yeah.
와, 독서실이 여기 있네요.
If people want to kind of have another space for themselves to work and have it be quiet, we have this library here. We also have a variety of books the employees had asked for that we had gotten. Some of them are about technologies, the Giving Tree, life lessons, you know. We also have some library cards. some fun little stamps.
Oh.
Back to what I was saying out there where we always have
Oh,
the Sesame
yeah.
characters.
Oh, customer.
Yeah, the customer. Let's head upstairs.
These elevators are cool.
Yeah, when they were rebuilding it, they found marble in the floor and stuff like that. And so they decided they wanted to keep that as like a consistent material. So as you'll see when you walk out, there's also this marble. When we put them in picture frames, we don't want to hang them up on the wall. We actually leave them on the shelves or leave them on the ground. That's because we want the place to feel residential or make it feel more like a home. And so we're on the 10th floor. Some seating area, nice kitchenette where employees can get snacks. We have kind of a boardroom conference style room here. So just a place for people to take meetings.
이제 인테리어가 진짜 잘 돼 있는 것 같아요. 옛날 궁전 막 이런 느낌으로 돼 있는 것 같기도 하고.
They wanted to be very thoughtful in how they designed it to make sure that it stays true to the building that it was. There's some views of the city.
뷰도 엄청납니다. 진짜 일할 맛 나는 그런 뷰인 것 같습니다. 노션의 본사에 근무하고 계신 두 분을 모셨는데요. 최근에 AI가 노션에 많이 들어왔는데 어떤 식으로 들어왔고 내부적으로는 어떻게 활용하고 계시는지 인터뷰를 통해서 알아보도록 하겠습니다. Can you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm a model behavior engineer here at Notion, and I focus on all things model behavior.
And hello, I'm Eric on our product team at Notion, focusing on our core products and developer tools.
I want to see some examples of how you use the AI.
So I think the best way to show you like some really powerful tools we have, I kind of need to show you our internal tools a bit. I work on our product team here at Notion, and I think one of the biggest things that product teams can often be doing is we can often be this just kind of connector role. And then the other thing that you can spend a lot of time doing as a product manager is just trying to like get the feedback. And at Notion, we have built agents that do both of those things all at once. And so what I'm showing you here is this is just our production Slack, and we have a channel here called All Product Feedback Chatter. And I'm happy to show that like we have tons of feedback just coming in internally from all of our teammates. It's coming in from customers. And if we look in here, right, it's like almost every hour we have a new piece of feedback coming in. It could be something someone wants, it could be a bug. We used to have to like as a PM or like just as a team, we'd all have to like read this channel, and it'd be very easy to miss feedback. We have feedback coming in from all sorts of customers. If I pop one open, you'll see that as soon as a piece of feedback comes in, we actually have this internal agent called Feedback Router. And this agent was one of the first agents I think we built inside of Notion when we released custom agents. It automatically interprets the feedback and flags it for the right team. So this specific piece of feedback, which came in from a customer, is about our meeting notes, and you can see the Feedback Router automatically flagged it to the right team and shared a cross post to it. The other really cool thing is we then have another agent called Feedback Fixer, which will actually begin to automatically open up a PR, like a code fix, to begin to address the feedback. I'm actually going to open up our internal Notion dev tool. Okay, here's the Notion Feedback Router. So this is that agent that we was just posting in here, right? First, one of the coolest things about our agents that you easy to miss is by default, they're very easy to share. And as a result, they're also very easy to like permission. So you'll see we just have a bunch of instructions in here. It has access to all sorts of information inside of Notion, all of our tasks, all of our bugs. So it has a ton of context about how to interpret this specific piece of feedback. But the most important page that it has access to and can also edit is this routing rules page. And what's very cool about this routing rules page is, again, the amount of instruction in this page is tremendous. This is a very long document. But this is basically telling the agent how it's supposed to route stuff. But because the agent can actually work with this page and edit it, if we ever give the agent feedback, you'll see that the agent will take any feedback we give it, which would be something like, hey, actually, this specific feedback should go, it shouldn't go to team A, it needs to go to team B. It'll detect that change and it'll fix itself. It'll automatically go in and edit this page to make it better. And so we call these kind of like self-healing agents, which I think is like critical. But this agent not only does the routing, it automatically updates itself. This is one of my favorite agents at Notion.
The rule is so long. I think the agent's context length or the memory can be full by just adding.
I mean, I think in the context of like the models we're running, while this looks like a very long document, this is a drop in the bucket of context window.
think so.
Probably like maybe a couple single percentage points at most. But I think the other thing, if we had to like really dig into it, like what's cool about this is this isn't like a markdown page. under the hood, this is all just a bunch of block, and it's just editable, right? You can @mention and @reference these entire other pages. But the way that our agents kind of like parse this type of document in Notion, it has a lot of control of how much it pulls in and out of its context window. Unlike a markdown file where like it's basically kind of all or nothing, these documents, like it can kind of decide how to go into our bugs database. We have so much like information on there.
So your agents are pulling only needed information, so
It is that kind of RAG concept built
Mm-hmm.
into just your everyday docs and tools.
And these kind of products is only for internal, or you have a plan to put the public?
This is a custom agent we use inside of Notion.
Yeah.
The easiest way to build them is literally just to open up this box and start telling your computer what you want the agent to do. And so, for example, we have a couple like really good ones here, like task trigger. These are like very common ones. But you know, if I wanted to create an agent, you know, to like help me track my tasks, we'll give you that template, and it'll begin to automatically set up a full, really kind of state-of-the-art agent for you. So just like that, we basically set up a little agent that can begin to triage tasks for me. And this is one of these like small little moments where it goes from like, I do all my task triaging to now I'm going to start to delegate that. This is one little taste of an agent.
Yeah, I think the custom agent that I've ended up using the most was my manager has been out. He's been on leave, and one of the great relationships I had with my manager was like talking to him and like asking him questions. And so this might be crazy. He actually doesn't know this, but I've gone ahead and with the help of AI, like pulled a bunch of his documents, did like linguistic analysis, all by basically just chatting into this input field, speaking directly to it. I basically have distilled his language style into like simple instructions. I've cloned my manager into a custom agent.
Wow.
And so like every time I have a question, I like ask it, you know, when I was like, oh, how does this document look? And it's funny because it does that, but then I've also given it the ability to update its instructions. And so anytime I deviate, I'm like, this doesn't sound like my manager. I say, and so it fixes its linguistic. And so it's constantly building this linguistic repertoire. And actually the original version of this droid was, it could write things for me. So I would basically like, give it, you know, a message, and then it would return the message in my manager's language. Pretty soon I realized, okay, this is producing slop. And this doesn't sound like me, nor does it sound like him. It's some in between of like an AI mockery. And so I changed the rules to say it can't write anything. It can only ask questions and give opinions. And so that way I still have to do the real work, but I can get a sounding board. When should the human be involved? Like if you're sending me a document, really I would prefer just your 2-line, 2-cents opinion versus an AI written PRD, 5-paragraph.
I agree, which gets me to the last point of it, I think what we really believe at Notion, which is for that person to wield the tool, they have to see what it's doing. The Claude, I love this tool. But when it's doing stuff, everything is behind this box. I have no interface to really go in and out of what the agent's doing. It has all the context, but for you to achieve the same context as the tool, you're opening like 4 or 5 other apps. You're bouncing around. And our goal there is to really get you into one place where you can see what it did, and even has like a cute face.
I think it's amazing. And can I see your?
Yeah, absolutely. In the case of evals, something that I've been doing recently is rebuilding a baseline set for us. And so what we really want to do with this is build out large-scale data sets where we can rerun new models, we can rerun changes, and just see whether we're still performing well on the majority of cases, which is the most important to our users. If this was a year ago, I would have written all of this by hand. And then I basically built this thing. This is also a custom agent, but in a database, so we call it a database agent. Slightly different UI. I gave it access to these 3 properties. So I did that, hit go, filled in all of them fully. That, in its blank state, AI generated output. Great starting point. So what I then did is I had this Ellie's observation property, and I went through all of them, one by one. I read each one of them, and then I quickly, there was something wrong with this, I'd put in an observation. Fixture doesn't make sense, and then describe it. And then I would unclick rerun. I said, trigger this agent whenever the specific property rerun is checked. So I can do anything I want, modulate this as much as I want, and then if I hit rerun, the agent would be triggered again. This can all be done on any coding agent, because if you simplify this, it's a CSV with a specific row, and you say, look at this row and update these rows, or columns, I mean. But having it in front of me, really being able to see what's happening, and like being able to actually just change this as much as I want, I find it so much more helpful and so much easier. And I will also say, all of this was really just me talking. Like I didn't even type. At this point, don't even type. I have my computer set to record my voice, and I'm just saying, okay, looking over this one. Okay, this doesn't make sense. Looking over this one. And then I had a really strong data set. It goes back to what I was saying at the beginning about data processing and data modification. For now, the data kind of looks like an Excel database or something, but it's all in natural language. And what we're producing is not the average or the sum or a chart. We're producing a creative output based on a described input. And so it's so cool to think that I'm a data engineer, but in language.
How is the accuracy? Let's say it's 100 agent-generated data. How many do you have a comment?
For this one, I was expecting all of them that I have to do a comment. I actually only ended up doing 10. So I have 36 rows, 10. Okay, it's a third of them that need, give or take a third, that need to be improved. This would not be possible a year ago. And now the models are really good. And partially, what really helped them be so good is that I could control which agent to use. So I chose, for this task, I want Sonnet 4.6. I actually prefer a somewhat less intense reasoning model because it kind of makes it more human. And then the way that this system works is that the context is only the row. And so it's actually very small context. If it had to do all of them with one agent, by the end it would be terrible output. But this is almost like spinning off a sub-agent 36 times at the same time where I've controlled the context of each single one.
I have a question. I think there's a two way to improve your work. The motor progress and harness engineering. What do you think the percentage?
Like the balance between them? That's a really good question. I don't know. I mean, one thing I do believe is that a year from now, we're still going to be discovering things that the models now can do. Like, I do think that models are a lot better than we think they are. So I'd say it's a lot about harness engineering, engineering your context, making sure that you have exactly what you want when you want it. And sometimes it was things as simple as when you render instructions to it, do you put the user message at the top or at the bottom? Do you put a reminder? Do you put nudges? Like, even the smallest things like this made a difference. I really think that prompt engineering back then, that has become context engineering, that is becoming harness engineering, provide huge gains.
Thank you for your use case. It's
Yeah, of
awesome.
course.
지금까지 이렇게 노션에서 실제로 AI를 어떻게 사용하고 있는지 살펴볼 수가 있었습니다. 감사합니다. 바이.
감사합니다.
저는 지금 한국에 다시 돌아와서 한국 노션 본사에서 오신 분이 계십니다. Hi, nice to meet you.
Great to meet you.
Could you briefly introduce yourself?
I'm Akshay Kothari, one of the co-founders of Notion. We're here in Seoul. Really excited to have Joe Coding visit us.
Thank you for joining. What internal AI use case has created the biggest impact in Notion? And how do you personally use AI?
Recently, we launched a product called Custom Agents. I think that has completely changed the way I use Notion, but also how customers are using it. I think the big shift is that instead of the docs and databases being the primary focus, that has moved into the background. And agents and sort of like how you interact with Notion is very much around just messaging your agents to do some work. The great thing about custom agents is that it runs in the background. It can even run while you're sleeping. So it can really get rid of a lot of the busy work.
Even if we shut down the Notion app, it runs in background?
And the way it works is the custom agents has 3 components to it. It's like you can set up the triggers when something happens. It can go and do the job. The second part is what we call instructions, and you can just write in your own language, your instructions. And then the final part is context. You can give it whatever context you want to give the agent. So for me, I think there's probably agents I use on a daily basis that are quite remarkably changed how we work. The first one is I've created my own email triage. So every time a new email comes in, it goes through my instructions, it triages my email. It's probably reduced my email time by 70-80%.
It replies automatically?
It creates a draft based on my rules for it. It works remarkably well for me. And then the one that I use the most is internally called Data Scout. So this was actually created by a data scientist at Notion. What he did was he connected Notion through MCP to our Snowflake tables, and it gave it all the context about what the tables are and where the data is structured. And essentially, Data Scout is like a data scientist that's available to you 24/7. So I can go in and I can say like, hey, I'm meeting this customer. Can you just tell me their usage patterns, their spend with us, some advice for what I can share with them to build a better relationship? And probably spends like 3-4 minutes. It runs the script on the table, looks at our strategy, gets context of who's the relationship manager and creates a plan for me. So something that used to take like hours, maybe days, can now be done in 4 or 5 minutes. The beautiful thing about the Data Scout is that one person built it, but everybody inside the company now can use it.
And what has Notion done deliberately to become an AI native company? What would Notion's AX, AI transformation playbook look like for other companies?
This is a new term I learned while I was in Seoul.
Oh yeah, AX. I heard that it's a Korean word.
Yeah, I like that. I think we took an early bet on AI. This was 3.5 years ago. And we built a small team, maybe 5 people, who built the early version of the alpha of Notion AI. And then I think that 5 people then expanded to like 30, 40 people. And then we realized that this group of people, I think they're just operating at a completely different pace, the rest of the company. One of the things we realized was the way to diffuse it inside the company was to sort of take that nucleus of people who were already doing it and slowly keep expanding that. And so we went from AI being a feature to us building a few different AI products to suddenly everything we're working on is either elevating the infrastructure to be ready or it's working on AI. Like there's no other work happening that's in between that, right? Probably like took about a year or so, but that transformation happened very quickly. But one thing that we lucked out on is like the things we're building, like the agent product, the meeting notes, the enterprise search, custom agents that we've built. All of these are products that our own employees love to use. In fact, one of the most popular agents, an agent called Smilers that the people team built, just takes the knowledge that exists and answers questions in Slack automatically. One way I sort of talk to our employees internally is that we might be the 99th percentile of a SaaS company in terms of how much we use AI. But if you look at native AI companies, we're probably the 50th percentile. Like there's still a lot better we can work on.
There must have been failed experiment or internal resistance during the AI transition. What did you learn and how do you draw the line between what AI should do and what humans should do?
My co-founder Ivan talks about working with AI is like brewing beer. It's a bit art to it. We might be in the maybe 6th, maybe 7th season of brewing beer. Like if you think about the agents, like the personal agent product that we launched in September last year, we tried to build that product like 3 or 4 times and we failed at it. Initially, we had a certain approach where we were trying to build a custom model and that worked for some cases but failed for others. So we had to shut it down. Then we had another push on that, but then we aimed too high. Like we were trying to build something that's too ambitious. So then we had to shut that down and then we restarted it. Alongside that, there's always new models coming in too. As you're trying these things, like the capability is getting better. And so we finally, last summer, our approach and the sort of the agent capability both connected for us to release the personal agent. So, when we were building software before, you'd be like, oh, we tried it once, it didn't work, we sort of shelved the project, we never revisit it. In the world of AI, you sort of have to have a very short memory. So as an applied company, you have to just try many times and get right eval so that you know that you're making progress.
What do you think about the role between what AI should do and what humans should do?
Our view of the world is from Douglas Engelbart and Alan Kay. These are computing pioneers who really thought of computers as augmenting human intelligence, not replacing. Thought of computers as a bicycle for the mind. I think in general, we are long humans. We think humans will play a big role in terms of like shaping the future. The really neat thing about an AI is that it can actually give you a lot of leverage. I do think there will be displacement with AI, but I'm bullish on humans finding new ways to be creative. New jobs will be created, new types of things people will do with it. So I'm actually very optimistic about that, and I think Notion's view of the world is very much sort of the man and machine, what they can do together rather than one replacing the other.
And from Notion 3.0 agents to the developer platform and workers announced in May, Notion seems to be evolving beyond the workspace into a hub for agents. What's the big picture of Notion?
I think the big picture we're realizing is that Notion is essentially infrastructure for companies or teams to be able to leverage agents. What we're realizing now is that the stuff you put in Notion starts as your context layer that you can give to agents, but then you can now connect to every other tool as well. This was something we released with the developer platform, with workers. Now you can connect every tool, and context infrastructure then becomes extremely valuable for agents. And with agents, we don't want it to be just the Notion agent. Like, recently we announced the ability for people to bring Claude and Cursor into Notion, and our hope is that we'll introduce even more agents into the future. And then finally, I think there's a question of like, okay, if agents are doing the work, what is the version control? Like, how do I know what work happened and how do I review that work? How do I approve that work? And so if you take a step back and you think about like, okay, why is software programming accelerating? One of the reasons it's accelerating is because it has GitHub. GitHub is an incredible infrastructure that allows you and I to merge our code. It allows me to review your code, you to review my code. It allows us to roll back. And Notion is trying to basically build that infrastructure for rest of knowledge work. I think if we build that infrastructure, then we can imagine a CFO or a chief marketing officer to be able to run several agents to run overnight when they go to sleep and to wake up with a lot of work done that they can review, that they can test and approve. I I think that's sort of like the infrastructure we're building. You know, one of the things we think about is like, okay, well, I think there's a lot of tools that are allowing you to be productive or leverage AI from like a single player world. It's like, you know, you can use one of the coding agents and you're becoming a better programmer. I think the value that Notion provides is like, how do you improve the productivity of the organization, not just individuals? And how do you diffuse this technology inside an organization? So one person inside a company might be really good at using AI. If that person can create that agent in Notion, everybody can benefit from it.
And finally, what advice you would give to Korean founders, developers, and creators who want to seize the opportunities of the AI era?
I think for a lot of people, they're still using AI as like a replacement to Google search or something. But actually, like AI has moved so much further along in terms of like the agentic capabilities you have and in terms of the long context windows and the fact that it can essentially write full software by itself, like is quite remarkable. So they have to think about like, okay, well, how can I be the most ambitious in things that I'm trying to do? And how can I invest in the infrastructure inside my company to be able to leverage that? And companies that are able to leverage the power of agents will definitely win versus the companies that lag behind there, right? And so I think like, I guess my general advice for entrepreneurs, I think there's two things. One is if you're running a startup, I think you should lean into this as hard as possible because it is going to change the way we work. And then of course, if you're building something with AI, this is by far the most incredibly sort of rich opportunity because everything is up for grabs. Like there's no legacy company that can hold on to the old business. Everything's going to be disrupted in interesting ways. There's almost like a new software guard that's going to emerge. And I think every entrepreneur should recognize that the large opportunity that it creates.
Okay. Thank you for your advice and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
디지털 업